to them. So Chuck Berry was glad, because he wanted somebody to snatch that trophy away from Elvis, and Little Richard wanted somebody to snatch it away from Pat Boone. Even when Serena wins, they still can't give it to her. I hear those commentators, how dare she say gender has played a role here. They talk about her like a near animal. They speak of her with disdain and disregard, and she just keeps on crushing and working and doing it and stroking and hitting that white ball and hitting that green ball with those nets. She makes something out of nothing. She recreates the improvisational character of jazz on the tennis courts, and she swings. Like Duke Ellington and Count Basie. Those kind of conversations. So we react. We don't inform ourselves. We don't arm ourselves with the truth. We don't say on either side we could be a bit more careful about the accusations we hurl. We don't say, yes, we could talk intelligently about difference and acknowledge that there are class dimensions and race dimensions in this issue and police dimensions in this issue of the president, the professor, and the police. And yet at the same time, it's also true, at least some of us think, that how dare a black man weigh in on the intelligence of a white man, even if one is the president and one is the police. While psychologists and psychoanalysts and sociolinguists and sociologists constantly reinforce a steady stream of invectives dressed up as pseudo-scholarship, scientifically rooted, that suggest the inherent inferiority of everybody outside the mainstream arc. We react to race. But what we're called here to do today is to rethink race. Rethinking is hard because we got to go up against received norms and traditions that have been well established. It's hard to rethink race because, dadgummit, we just don't even want to think about it, much less rethink about it. This is why it's hard for Obama to even talk about race. Before I criticize him for not talking about race, let's look at the real deal. It's hard for him to do it. But being hard don't make it ain't real. Excuse me for that solecism and that vernacular tradition. That's a Negro dialect intentionally. Shout out to Harry Reid. Don't mean because it's hard you can't do it. That means it's just hard. It's hard for LeBron to play 80 games a year. It's hard, but he got to do it. If you're going to be the greatest, if you're going to catch up with Kobe. You're going to shoot a lot more jump shots than that. You got to get to that gym early. It's hard. That's your job. It's hard. But it is difficult. Even though he's the most powerful man in the world, he still got constraints. Mr. Obama, not LeBron. Mr. Obama even looks like he's about to itch toward race. Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh. He's trying to do reparations to Negroes. Every gesture of Mr. Obama's, and how ludicrous it is to suggest, first of all, Mr. Obama doesn't even support reparations, to the chagrin of many black folk who knew it. Not only is he formally against reparations, but nothing he has done looks anywhere near like he's trying to favor black people. And this is part of the difficulty he confronts as the first African-American chief of the nation. Benjamin Disraeli faced a similar situation. Being the first Jewish head of the United Kingdom, they looked to see if he was favoring Jews and not the Christians, seeing if he would take positions that would undermine and perhaps criticize his Jewish brothers and sisters. Nobody asked George Bush, do you look like you're going to side with white folk, or can you be critical of them too? Nobody asked Bill Clinton that. Nobody asked Nobody asked Gerald Ford that. Nobody asked Ronald Reagan that. Are you going to be critical of right-wing and arch conservatives to prove that you have a legitimacy? Are you going to be critical of white folk? And not only did he not get asked that question, he started his campaign the second time for the presidency in Philadelphia, Mississippi, one of the most racist bastions of white supremacy in America. And so we know Obama's facing some stuff. It's hard. But that's the job you asked for. As one brilliant critic put it, this ain't no monarchy. You didn't inherit the title. You had to contest for it. You went up into the ring. You said, I'm the greatest. It amazes me that people don't understand that. He asked for that job. He knew how hard it was. I know, because I've been knowing him since 91, and he understood how difficult it was. He was to the manner born. He understood the niceties of complexity that had to be interpreted as he, as the bully pulpit of America, used it to inform America about things. It's hard to deal with the economy. Still got to do it. It's hard. I don't want to give a budget. Today, $3.8 trillion. It's hard to give a speech before Congress. Got to do it. It's hard to face the American Republican leadership. Got to do it, and did it brilliantly. It's hard to deal with 2 wars in Afghanistan when you receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Got to do it. So don't tell me it's hard to deal with race. Got to do it. That's part of your jizzo to the izzo to the busy. What you signed up for? Can't just shoot jump shots, you gotta run suicide drills. And so Mr. Obama faces a formidable array of opponents who every time he looks like he's looking at black folk, it looks like he's giving them a break, and he ain't giving no black folk no break. In fact, he going out his way to be a little bit persnickety. He going out of his way. He go to black churches. Black fathers must show up. We know that. You right to say it, but say it to everybody. Don't just say it to us. Black family messed up. You ain't lying about that. But if you look at Lindsay Lohan, the white family got some trouble too. Can we get some equal opportunity dissing going on up in this piece? Britney Spears ain't having a Sunday school picnic. K-Fed, do I need to say more? Just say that. The same time he went to remonstrate against the moral deficiencies of black families, 17 white girls in Massachusetts had made a pact to have babies before they graduated from high school. Speak on that. Now let's be honest, my brothers and sisters. Can we speak honestly? You see, I'm a gentleman, hopefully, of some local ambition to at least parse the complexities of race. Not mean-spirited, but if I ask my white brothers and sisters to understand, you know that so many of your white peers don't want to hear Obama say not a word that might be imputed or ascribed to a black person as criticizing the dominant culture. It is difficult because many white brothers and sisters are not used to hearing stuff they don't want to hear. It ain't your fault. It's just that when you're in the dominant and the mainstream, you just got stuff basically that you kind of want to hear. But what it means to be minorities, to hear stuff you don't want to hear every day. We brushing our teeth. They start early in the morning. All the crime and irresponsibility, ain't showing up to work, ain't doing the right thing. That's before 9 o'clock. Then the news at 5 after the midday break-in, Negro found trying to break into a rich person's house. We going, oh Lordy, oh Lordy. Then Then at the 3:30 break-in, teasing the 5 o'clock news, they got Willie out there. Let me tell you what happened. Then at 5 o'clock, they got the